Hey guys, it's John Crestani. In this video, I'll be going over AdWords targeting, and I'll be addressing really big issues here: keywords, placements, negative keywords, and really refining. We had talked about our structure. We're creating about 6 campaigns. Then under each of those, we kind of defined what the ad groups are going to be. But now we're going to go a little more. Now we're going to go all the way and really address how to build out those ad groups into keywords and match types and start getting some traffic. After this, we'll talk about ad copy, and we'll talk about landing, defining what your landing pages are. And finally, we'll go over optimization, and that will give you the entire piece of all the pieces of the puzzle to make a successful AdWords campaign. So without further ado, I'm going to just talk real quickly about match types. Match types, there's 4 different types of match types. There's broad match, modified broad match, phrase match, and exact match. Broad match, basically, if you said Samsung 4-wheeled bags, you could get, you could have like 4-wheel car bags or 4-wheel golf bags show up, even though it doesn't have Samsonite in it. It wouldn't matter. It's because broad match is extremely broad. As you see, antler 4-wheeled bags can match, Samsonite wheeled suit carriers. There's all sorts of things, and it's a little crazy, and I don't recommend you use broad match on search. So modified broad match, for instance, you have to put a plus in front of the word. So what will happen is if you say Samsonite 4-wheeled bags, this will always have to match with Samsonite, or at least some misspelling of Samsonite. For instance, let me just make sure this is going. For instance, if somebody spelled Samsonite, you'd still want that to match because they're probably still looking for a Samsonite bag. If they typed in Samsonite 4-wheeled bag, I mean, sure, it says they're stupid, but it does, they're still looking for that same sort of word. So that's why I prefer to use modified broad match in my ad groups. As you'll see, somebody who searched Samsung 4-wheeled bags, now this wouldn't even match on exact match. If we were just using exact match, this would not work correctly because they spelled Samsonite wrong, even though everything else is correct. So you actually miss out on a lot of search volume. According to Google, 15% of searches every day have never been searched before. So there's a very broad, big net out there to capture. I just put this slide in just to kind of give some more examples. Formal footwear, formal shoes matches with men's dress wingtips, for instance. Whereas, if you're using like a modified broad match like here, it would match with formal evening shoes, etc. So people can add words or subtract words. So let's go into this. Generic ad groups. This is for the generic campaign. If you guys don't remember, there's 6 ad groups I recommend. I'm not going to write them down, but generic, brand, search retargeting, competitor, display campaign, and then a remarketing campaign. And generic is one of your big, generic, competitor, and display. Those are going to be the big daddies, really pushing a lot of new volume and really taking your business to the next level, whereas brand and remarketing advertising will capture people who have already heard about your business, which is very important. If you're looking to double or 5x or 10x your business or more, you're going to have to do generic ad campaigns, competitor campaigns, and display campaigns. Get them to work. At the very least, get generic and competitor campaigns to work, or at the very least, competitor, one of them. Focus on roughly 8 to 20 keywords per ad group for generic groups. These are groups that where the root keyword has between 10K, 2 to 10K searches a month. If you're targeting all of US. Now, a keyword like that, we came up, it's like acne cleansing products. It's something that's relatively targeted, but not too long tail usually. I call it the 1-2-7 match type rule. This is kind of my rule of thumb, is you put one, let me modified. I never use broad in search, or generally not, but one modified broad per ad group. And then from that, you'd have maybe 2 phrase and 7 exact match. So for instance, if my root keyword was, John Crestani, then I would have this be a modified broad, and then after that I would have John Crestani PPC, maybe John Crestani, one word, etc. And then from there I'd continue on and create more long tail searches from there, if that makes any sense. If I was bidding on my name. Here's an example of a good ad group. In this case, I have 2 modified broad keywords. I have gold bullion. Gold bullion is really the real main modified broad keyword in this group. And notice I put buy gold bullion in just because it has a lot of search volume. And I have a couple phrase match, which are the most popular search terms, such as gold bullion price and gold bullion itself, and then buy gold bullion. And then I have a bunch of exact match, which have lesser volumes. Notice how these all have, they're not as popular terms, but I still want to, I'm still capturing them by having them in an exact match. But I still have those same terms, such as gold bullion. I have that in modified broad, phrase, and exact match, because it's that important. That's our root keyword. Unmodified, 2 phrase around the root, etc. Negative keywords, these should be added during the research process, and I'm going to do a live demonstration of the actual building out of a campaign for the 4 different companies we're using as examples: Love Vitamin, Oliver Manufacturing, etc. But in the research process, you're going to be going through a lot of data and information, and you want to separate negative groups by intent if possible. People who are looking for information are different than people looking to do it themselves, and then there are bargain hunters, and then there are people looking for just a part of a specific product. Maybe they're looking for personal injury lawyers, but they're looking for personal injury lawyer contracts. That may not necessarily be a good person to go after, because that might be an actual lawyer just looking for a contract for himself. So there are a lot of terms that kind of disqualify people, and we'll be looking out for those as we go through the process. It'll make a lot more sense. So now I'm going to go into competitor campaigns and their ad groups. Lots of these terms have lower search volume, so you're going to actually want to we're going to want to place more emphasis on phrase match keywords. As search volume gets just because there aren't as many like root words to build around, what we're doing is we're just having all of our keywords be a little bit broader. And when we actually discuss uploading the campaigns and ads, I'll show you a really cool setting that'll make this easier as well. Here's another one I like to show people just because this is, frankly, this is how I do things a lot of the times now, because I know exactly, I'm very good with both my negative keywords, and I'm pretty confident in my ability to optimize at this point, that you do the quick and dirty ad group technique. And this is really, I only advise this for people who are advanced and extremely confident in everything else they're doing, such as if you know your landing pages convert because you have, you should have at least 10,000 visitors a day coming to your websites, and be confident that you know what you're doing and what conversion rates you'll see, and have AdWords campaigns working, but using one modified broad, one phrase, and one exact. And this is, I really just bring this up to kind of demonstrate, if you really are, just don't have a lot of time, the most important thing is knowing, this modified broad is getting real good keywords to use as your modified broad is really the key for everything. Now I'm going to quickly go into display. Broad keywords, you only use broad, not modified broad, because display is targeted differently. People aren't actually searching. You try to use keywords that are only used in specific scenarios, such as, if in the mortgage industry, it's mortgage or refinance. People don't use those words very often. If they're if you're selling home refinance plans, people aren't using the term refinance or mortgage very often in other cases. And another thing I like to do is I like to pick up placements as I go along and do research for my ad groups, and I'll show you how that works. So I'm going to try to do this all within an hour. I'm going to do a live demonstration of building out campaigns for the Love Vitamin first. So we have some of our ad groups here. So let's take this down, and I'm just clearing up some space in my sheet. Without further ado, let's do this. Okay. So first we have to open up our keyword tool, which is pretty important. And I always like to open up the website because, since I don't know the company as well as the person who runs it, I always want to make sure I'm trying to sell the right product. Now again, this is an information product selling how to clear your skin. So they have, let's see where the product is. They're going to say testimonials, support, the Academy. So we don't just want the free report, we want to sign up for, okay, here we go. Naturally Clear Skin Academy. Okay, so first let's build out the brand campaign. And so how I always like to start things out is I use AdWords Editor to upload things a lot of time. So I always separate out my, I just use these as the headings for each of my Excel sheets. This will help you if you want to upload campaigns through AdWords Editor, which is a free software tool that assists uploading ad groups in bulk. If you don't want to, that's fine. So I'm going to say brand. The Love Vitamin brand. And we'll do the Love Vitamin. So the Love Vitamin. So first I'm just going to type in a lot of words that are associated with the actual website. Love Vitamin. The Love. Now I'm just taking guesses here. Lovevitamin.com. Of just what people are searching for, for this website. because that's the brand name term. So we just want to see, we're using a couple different examples here. We look at keyword ideas. Remember, we go to this tab in here, may change, but we're seeing love vitamin, lovevitamin.com. Let's try first let's see if we have any keywords here. We aren't seeing any more love vitamin related keywords. We are seeing this, the love vitamin, as the most searched term. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this into a tool I like called Uber Suggest. It's an amazing tool. And I'm just going to put the query in here, type in the caption. Now this sometimes gets overloaded. It's thinking, and basically takes data from Google Suggest. So now what we're going to do is we're going to copy a lot of these. And well, first I'm gonna first I'm gonna copy my main keywords. I'm gonna put them in my sheet. So these are all gonna be so the love vitamin is my main term. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this in. So this is going to be my exact match term. Then I'm also going to have this as my phrase match term. Then this is also going to be, now I do a little formula to put a plus sign in front of everything. So what I do is I actually just do concatenate. So we do concatenate, then we do substitute, and then I say every space should be a space plus, and I have to close out. This is my modified broad, and it's a modified broad because it has pluses in front of every term. So what this does is this is really the core of the ad group, and I'm going to name the ad group the love, or just love vitamin, because this is the brand. You could name it love vitamin, or you could just name it brand. I'm just going to name it love vitamin because that describes the root, or the love vitamin, because that describes the root keyword in the ad group. Makes sense? Love vitamin. So what I'll do with this is, because this is a whatchamacallit, a brand campaign, I'm just going to make the rest of these phrase. But let's see, in the keyword planner, we get search volume. We put in all these other search terms. Let's see if we get any, let's see if any of them have search volume. Wow, look at this. So lots of the terms we put in, notice we put in about maybe 100 terms here. For every letter of the alphabet, there are about maybe 4. So we put in maybe 100 or 100 or more. And Google, so we put them all into the search, and what we found is that many of these don't get any search volume whatsoever, but a few do. And what we're seeing do, the love vitamin acne, so we already put in the love vitamin, but we didn't put in any of these. So we're going to throw all these in right now. I'm going to say love vitamin acne. Love vitamin manuka honey. Lovevitamin.com, we already got that. The Love Vitamin Estro block. What is the Love Vitamin? So some of these, I mean, I'm just interested in, so maybe people just are wondering, okay, you know, it's called the Love Vitamin. Is there an actual Love Vitamin? The Love Vitamin Candida. And, you know, these might be popular articles on their blog. The 7-Day Candida Cleanse Challenge. So I guess this has something to do with what she actually recommends, you know, to cleanse yourself. 7-Day Candida Cleanse Challenge. Maybe this was a former product. So it looks like this is actually a former sales page that the person was using, because there aren't any oh, there's one personal picture. And this just looks like an old sales page that she was trying to use. It isn't as well done. But yeah, that's interesting. So you can find a lot of stuff. Candida Cleanse Review. And Love Vitamin Yoga. So I'm actually not going to type in Love Vitamin Yoga. So there we go. I sometimes go back and forth about whether I want these in phrase or broad. You can test it out for yourself. But this is pretty good. And we can actually, if we want, I could just put these all in exact match, and we could kind of let it go like that. Some of these aren't actually going to get any very many crazy phrase match key search terms, but keep in mind this, the Love Vitamin in broad, is going to get a lot of the search volume right there. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to put Love Vitamin, one word, in phrase, and I'm also going to put Love Vitamin in phrase. So what we did, notice there's about one broad, 3 phrase, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 exact match terms. So we actually have almost exactly the sort of ad group I like to do in generic campaigns. But this is a well-built ad group, and this will work out really well in AdWords to capture the terms. Now notice I did not add in yoga. Where were we? I did not add in the Love Vitamin Yoga because it's not relevant. If we're you know, if we really want to focus a little more on acne related stuff, maybe this person does yoga, we don't care too much about that. So let's go back here. So we did the brand campaign. Now let's do some of the generic campaigns. Again, campaign, ad group, keyword, match type. Now, one thing I hope you know is, you know that if you put this in manually into AdWords, you're going to have to type in quotes for phrase match, and you're going to have to type in brackets for exact match. We'll go over that when it comes to that, uploading everything. But in terms of this, you'll see it's just, we could actually upload this through AdWords Editor and it would work out. Okay, let's go to generic campaigns. So we had talked a little bit about the structure. Now let's just pick 4 of these. Let's pick a couple of these, whatever. ad groups. So let's pick adult acne, hormonal acne treatment. Let's pick acne remedies. Let's pick get rid of acne. And let's build ad groups around those. Just because we don't have we'll do adult acne treatment. Actually, I saw that on there. It's just a little more long tail. It doesn't really matter. I didn't pick many of those for any reason, just because they're slightly different. But we want to. I just want to give you an idea of how to create some ad groups here. So first, we're gonna base our first ad group around adult acne treatment. I'm going to copy this word and I'm going to throw it into get search volume right here. So again, I'm back in AdWords. I'm back in the keyword planner. This is where you're going to spend a lot of time. Now there's a number of back in the ad group section. I kind of went over how you define what are keywords that are about your business. But keep in mind, one of the ways to know is generally you're going to see your competitors when you search for the term. If I'm searching for personal injury lawyers in New Jersey, I'm searching for personal injury lawyer in New Jersey, and I'm a personal injury lawyer in New Jersey, I'm going to know this is a good search term to go after if I'm seeing all of my competitors show up. If I say, I know these guys, I hate these guys, or these guys are a big firm, I want to be like them, or Siegel and Capozzi. If you are seeing your competitors show up, then you're in the right arena. It's just common sense. If you want to be that's one way. Another way is just knowing this is what you do. There are a lot of different ways, but in this case, adult acne treatment, we know that works. So we have adult acne treatment, and I don't know why this is not. Let's see what's going on here. Your keywords have been filtered by your settings. There we go. I just needed to reload the page. So I'm typing it in Google. I'm also going to go to Uber Suggest and just throw in adult acne treatment real quick. Keep in mind, this is a free tool. I don't recommend many paid tools. So notice it's a good term. Love this term. Generally, what I'm going to do is you're just going to see me adult. Adult acne treatment. Broad phrase, exact. I'm going to use that same formula. Concatenate plus substitute this guy spaces for space pluses and close out with 2 brackets. Now adult acne and pause the video if you couldn't see that formula all the way, and just copy it down. So we have the core of our ad group right here. Remember what I said about the 1-1-1, the quick and dirty ad group rule? If I was doing this, and I knew my landing pages worked, and I always know I come into campaigns with a lot more knowledge, obviously, because I am, in my own practice, I'm working in verticals where I know what every single number of mine should be. I'm knowing what my click-through rates, my CPC should be. I'm knowing what my conversion rates are going to be. I'm knowing what my earnings per click is going to be. I'm knowing what my, everything, chargebacks, upsell rates, etc. So I know everything, and I'm fine going broad on some of the targeting because, but you shouldn't. So in this case, you'll see, but I'm going to continue to build this out. Adult acne treatment. Now, why the hell? Adult acne. Why didn't we get anything from here? Kind of surprised. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. There's, maybe there aren't a ton of things. We're seeing best adult acne treatment, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue adding more. I'm going to put a comma, and I'm going to Control V, copy. Adult acne treatments, plural, copy. And what this does is the more terms we tell Google that are important for us, the more they're going to give us similar terms to adult acne treatment, treatments, best adult acne treatment, etc. So we're just going to hopefully get more refined until we get every search term we need. Best treatment for adult acne, comma, paste. Scrolling down here. Treatment for adult acne. I'm going to paste acne treatments that work. So adult cystic acne treatment. Now this brings up a good term that we may want to use, but this also will conflict with our cystic acne treatment ad group. So this is where I'm getting kind of advanced, and you might want to re-watch this video just to understand this. But cystic acne treatment may be more specific than adult acne treatment. So I would probably leave this term out of the adult acne treatment ad group and put it in the cystic acne treatment ad group instead, because that's where it's more specific. Why does it matter that it's more specific? Well, I can write more specific ad copy to cystic acne treatment than I can for adult acne treatment. Maybe adult acne is broader and cystic acne is more specific. That's what I'm guessing, at least. And if I'm right, then if you write more targeted ad copy to that cystic acne person, you're going to be able to get them more clicking on your ads more. You're going to be able to get lower cost per click, and you're going to be able to get higher conversion rates, hopefully, if all works out. Natural adult acne treatment. So this, if this could have been in the natural acne treatments group, but I'm saying it should be in the adult acne because it's more specific than natural. The best acne treatment, it's not adult acne. Best acne treatment for adults. So we're building up a nice list of keywords here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to get ideas again. And now I think we have about 10 words. And notice, they all have kind of lesser volume because they're all kind of derivative of this main root keyword right here. And acne treatment for adults, so we are missing one more here. But I think we're almost done with this group. See, most of them are not adult acne treatment related. So, comma. Keep in mind, every one of these terms is going to still match for adult acne treatment in modified broad match. Every one of these terms I'm mentioning. The thing is, though, by giving Google more specific search terms, what's going to happen? So now I'm just going to copy and paste this back into the sheet. What's going to happen is that you're going to get better. Google's going to give you preference in their in their search because you're showing them, hey, I'm going after this specific term, best acne treatments for adults. It also allows you to get more targeted in your ad copy by using dynamic keyword insertion, which I'll show later. But what I'm doing is I'm just copying all this down. Now this is a really solid ad group. I'm actually going to get rid of hormonal acne treatment because I think you're getting the idea. But notice, remember, root keyword, I'm putting that in phrase and exact as well. Then I have these keywords right here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then we have these three guys up here. So we have 14 keywords in this ad group. This is a really solidly built out ad group, and the targeting is perfect on this ad group. Now what we'll have to do is we'll have to test, obviously, is it going to work, and we'll, if we're bidding, if we're expecting conversion rate of 1%, we have to bid around 40 cents. Let's do an acne remedies group. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave 2 spaces in between here, and I'm going to do acne remedies. Then I'm going to, so I'm going to get rid of all these acne remedies. I'm going to do this a couple times because I think this is, I hope this isn't too much. But this is the core of what, what is AdWords. You can also put an acne remedy. So there are a lot of ways we can branch out from here. Home remedies, acne home remedies. So homemade acne remedies. What I'm going to do is, because I like to start more specific rather than less specific, is I'm actually going to kind of alter my approach a little bit here. And since I'm seeing acne home remedies have so much search volume, I'm just, if I'm the business owner, I'm just starting my AdWords campaign, I want to get it to work. Plain and simple. I don't want to try to, I don't want, I don't want to start making $1 million tomorrow. I don't want to throw away $100,000 to try to make $1 million tomorrow. I want to start targeted, and I want to spend $1,000 to make $1,500. I just want to see it work. I don't want to, I don't want $1 million. I don't expect a ton of sales. I just want to see something work. So that's why we're going to get really specific here. So I'm gonna because I'd rather do the core of what works rather than not. So let's get ideas here. Acne home remedies, acne home remedy. So I don't know if this is searched, but I'm just looking it up. It's cool. I'm also going to put this in Uber Suggest. Notice how Uber Suggest didn't work too well for adult acne treatment. Sometimes it doesn't. Home remedies for acne. Ooh. So this is where it gets tricky. This actually may be too broad. Because what we're seeing is home remedies for acne, which is basically the same thing as this, is getting a ton of searches. Home remedies for acne. I think it's a pretty home remedies for acne scars. Best. So now we have to change this out as this has to be our root keyword now, because acne home remedies is, it's the same 3 words. Acne, acne, home, remedies, remedies. This. Best home remedies for acne. Home remedy for acne. So, So we're gonna, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make, let's say I were a little bit of an aggressive business owner, and I said I really want to go after home remedies for acne because that's exactly what we help out with. Maybe her product, the Candida cleanse, is is that's a home, it's a home remedy for acne. So let's say we want to go after that term because we think it's important. Now I'd discourage the business owner and I'd say, hey, look, it's $6, the suggested bid, but maybe because we're so targeted towards this specific product that we'll get a good click-through rate. We'll get our ads showing sometimes enough to make it profitable. So it's over 10,000 search volume, but let's say we want to go for it. Now, what I do remember is what's important is we don't make stupid decisions, and we know, okay, if if the product is $40 and typically it converts at 1%, then we know we can spend about 40 cents per click. So I'd say, okay, even though it says the suggested bid is $6, we're still going to set we're still setting the bids at 40 cents because that's kind of what we need to be profitable. And a second measure is I'm also going to say, let's spend no more than 10 times the CPA. So what's the CPA? Well, if we can spend $40 to make $40 back, I'd say that's progress because at least we're getting new customers who we can upsell later. So 10 times the CPA would be $400. So maybe we say, okay, we're willing to spend $400 on this ad group to make it work. No more, because if we've sent 1,000 clicks and we haven't gotten more than a customer or two, that's probably it's probably bad, because that would be a point. That would be a 0.2% conversion rate or 0.1%, which means this term doesn't work. But let's say the business owner is really enthralled, this is going to work. I'll say let's go for it. Okay. So home remedies for acne. The reason why I'm saying that is because it's above that 10,000 mark. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start saying, okay, we're not going after scars. So we're going to start building in some negatives right here. So I'm just going to start building in some negatives. Scars. Let me just do one of these. Scars. Scars. Scar. At-home remedies, natural home remedies. Let's home remedy for acne, because we're not going after scar-related stuff, so we're just going to kind of focus on a little broader version of home remedies, at-home remedies for acne. Let's get rid of back. We'll talk about back acne in another ad group, which is specific to back acne. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do back, because I want to address acne, back acne, and another thing, natural home remedies for acne. So, and maybe, let's say my product takes, a week or 2 weeks to work, maybe overnight is, I don't want somebody who's coming in with these, if these, maybe as a business owner, I know if somebody is looking for overnight acne cure, they're not going to get it. And, they're probably going to leave me a bad review. So what I might do in that case is I might say I don't want overnight. And let's say I don't cure cystic acne, or let's say I want to address that in another group. I'll put cystic in this group too. Remedies, acne. So we're just adding to our list here. Acne home remedies. Remember, this was one of our terms before. Best home remedy for acne. I don't think we got that. So we're just adding. What are some home remedies for acne? That's a cool term. It's a question. And it shows there's a lot of terms for questions. Quick. Maybe somebody who's looking for a quick home remedy. You know, again, I think I don't agree with their mentality. So so I'll say, you know, quick, overnight, you know, and I'm going to take this out of, you know, this is another negative group. So what I'm doing is I'm just collecting negatives as I'm going along here. Acne scars home remedy, good home remedies for acne. Adult acne home remedies. So let's say, you know, I'm going to try to keep those adult acne things separated out into their own group. Maybe as a business owner, I believe adult acne has to be addressed differently. Home remedies to clear acne. Body acne. And let's see, and this will be, I think, one of the last ones. We could do this for ages. But let's see how this works out first. Okay, cool. So we have a number of search terms here. Now what I'm going to do is I click modify search, and notice how it just lists them all out like that. I like that. I'm going to click control copy, and I'm going to go back into generic campaign here, and I'm going to now what was our root keyword again? It's home remedies for acne. I'm also going to say acne home remedies. Home remedy for acne is important. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to throw these down a little bit, and I'm going to say, I'm going to copy this. Notice this is the concatenate thing right here. We have home remedies for acne. I'm going to put this in broad, modified broad, I mean, phrase and exact. I'm also going to put this. Oopsies. I'm also going to put home remedy. I'm also going to put acne home remedies in broad, or modified broad, that is. I'm gonna want to put this in phrase as well. Putting the rest in exact match. And we could go on and add more exact match keywords in this group, but I think we actually got the majority of the big words here. So, you know, as I said, we could keep going through. What I am going to go through is I do want to make sure that we do get rid of a lot more negatives. So a number of things we are seeing show up in the suggestions. If Google, keep in mind, if Google is suggesting these terms, such as constipation, for whatever reason, Google could somehow misconstrue our modified broad match keyword and somehow make us advertise on constipation related words. So we just want to make sure that doesn't happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm just going to put that in here. Constipation, constipate, and I'm going to try to find some other terms that I don't want. Easy, maybe I think that's a wrong expectation. You know, maybe I think somebody looking for an easy solution is, or who knows, that could be a wrong one. But we could say sore throat. Let's keep going through. So we could click this little button here. Acne scars, we're seeing sore throat remedies. Full beauty home remedies, face mask, acne laser treatment, gout. So these are just, if these are terms that Google's throwing up, it just, again, we just get rid of them. Oil for acne, blemishes, I think blemishes are the same thing. I don't know what rosacea is. If you don't know what something is, I would just suggest you Google it, of course. Rosacea is redness. So, maybe this is not the same as acne. So what I would do in this case is I would actually use this, and this would be a negative term that I would that I would add in. And let's see if there are any other things similar to that. Okay. Acne. So for now, that may be maybe cold. For now that may be pretty good. I'll just do flu. And we didn't create our last ad group, but I think it's almost been about an hour. What I'll do is I will separate out. I'll do the Grossman Law Firm, Co Home, and the Oliver Manufacturing in a separate video. But I hope this has been useful so far in figuring out kind of how to set up ad groups and just the kind of process for bringing everything, and as we move along, we're going to just start bringing everything together. But we have a very solid base for where we want to advertise now, and we'll throw it into AdWords hopefully soon enough. Thanks for watching.